John Love here with Sentinel Enterprise with Colin Welch. We are talking about his tournament coming up this Saturday. It is a Magic the Gathering tournament against Leominster's Teen Library. Why don't you tell me a little bit how you came up with this idea?
Well, I like competitions. I think competitions are a great way to bring people together. And libraries, we don't really have a lot of kids who are really into sports come to our stuff. So I thought, oh, great way to do that would be Magic the Gathering. I know it really well, and a lot of our kids love it. And I know Leominster probably isn't that different from us. They definitely have tons of Magic fans, and so I went to their librarian and said, I think this would be a cool idea to use our town rivalry to get people to come to the library and have a blast. And she agreed, so we set this all up.
Now, tell me about the tournament and how it's going to be run on Saturday.
So the tournament is going to be a booster draft. So that means that we bought a few large boxes of Magic the Gathering booster packs, which have a random assortment of 15 cards in them. And so each player at the beginning of the tournament is issued 3 booster packs. And when the tournament begins, they're going to open the first booster pack. They're going to look through the cards. They're going to remove the basic lands and any of the other extra little things in there that don't have any meaning. And then they're going to look at the remaining cards, and they're going to pick one card to keep, and they're going to pass the remaining 14 to the person to their left. That person is going to repeat the same process, and it's going to go all the way around until all of the cards from everyone's first booster pack have all been drafted. And then they're going to open the next booster pack and repeat the same process by passing it to the right. And then by the end of it, they should have a good 45 cards to build a deck with. And then we will provide them with the basic lands that in order to completely fill out the deck. And then they will use that deck to compete against the other players in the tournament.
Now that we got that underway, you're gonna be having a tournament here
Yes.
on Saturday.
Yes.
And Leominster's going to be having a tournament at their teen library on
Saturday.
Yes. Saturday as well, both at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And the winners of that are going to get together a week later.
Yes. So this Saturday is the qualifiers we're here and at Leominster, and then the following Saturday, the 25th, all the top players from each tournament are going to meet here in this room or area of the library.
In the Fitchburg teen
The Fitchburg
area.
Teen Center, and they are going to have the final competition.
And how many kids right now? You have 11 signed up, and you're hoping to get one more for 12.
Yes, if we can get one more for 12, that'd be great. If someone wants to show up and missed the signups, I still encourage them to come. And because we need kids to be here so we can start on time. So if it's 12:15 and there's someone who signed up who hasn't arrived yet, and there's someone just waiting to play, we'll probably jump them into the tournament.
Okay, now that we got the particulars out of the way and what's going to happen and everything, why don't you tell me a little bit about Magic the game itself?
All right, well, Magic the Gathering is a trading card game that I think was developed about 20 years ago by a mathematician. There are now thousands of cards, but it's actually a very easy game to play. So all the players start out by shuffling their decks of cards that they have acquired, and then you draw 7 cards from the deck. And then so if you come over here, you can see this. So in my hand, you'll notice there are a few different types of cards. You have sorcery spells, lands, and creatures. And lands are where the player draws their magical power from. So lands are kind of the currency you use to summon the various cards. Every spell card has a cost up here that tells you how many lands and of which type you need in order to play that card. So this one would require both a forest and then 1 mana of another color. It can be any color, even another forest, but you need at least 2 mana to summon this. And then all of the cards have different effects and spells, and you use them in combination to try and lower your opponent's life points to 0.
And how many life points do you start with?
20.
20.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now tell me, now that we've got how to play a little bit out of the way, I mean, if they really want to find out, they can come and hang out with you on Wednesday nights, right?
Yes. So the third Wednesday of every month at the Fitchburg Public Library, we have a teen trading card game night. Kids come and bring their Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Magic the Gathering decks. If you've never played Magic before, we actually have been provided by Wizards of the Coast with a whole bunch of free starter decks that we provide to new players.
Well, that's very cool.
Yeah,
And
it
how
is.
many cards are in each deck?
40.
40. Excellent. Now, just tell me a little bit about the game itself. You know, we were discussing before we started the video on how intricate the game is, and is that why it's popular? Similar to Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, Dungeons and Dragons is very complicated with books and books and books, but kids been playing it since almost the late '60s.
Yeah, well, I think it's fun. It's just I think that the complexity and just how varied the game is, and you can do pretty much anything. You can have decks that are purely just counter spells which cancel all of your opponent's actions, and then damaging spells to actually reduce them to 0. There are decks where you sacrifice your own creatures in order to gain a power boost. There's so many different strategies and ways you can play the game that everyone can find the way that matches their personality the best, and you can win.
And explain the cards to me like you were a few minutes ago, like the actual stuff on the bottom that tells you how intricate the game is.
So it's very complicated, and it does require a high level of reading ability. So, for instance, there's this card.
Okay, let's get up close.
Yes, it's called Jace's Ruse. And this card, I'm just going to read you the description of the cards. Just see, this is why we do the game, because it doesn't just teach, it's not just fun, but it also teaches strategic thinking and technical reading. So, when I play Jace's Ruse, you get to return up to 2 target creatures to their owner's hand. You may search your library and or graveyard for a card named Jace Arcane Strategist, reveal it, and put it into your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle it. So there's a lot of things you have to be able to understand all of that and process it in a way that you know exactly what needs to be done when you play this card.
This sounds like it's similar to chess, where you got to think many moves ahead.
It is. It is very much like chess. The main difference is that it's actually more complicated. Chess, because it's in a restricted amount of space and all the pieces are the same. There is a way you can win as white that is completely undefeatable. They haven't found it yet, but it exists. With Magic the Gathering, that's never going to happen. There are hundreds of thousands of different cards that you can play in Magic the Gathering. So it's never, ever going to be a complete game, and it's always going to be evolving and changing.
Are they always making new cards?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Every year there's multiple new sets that are released. And the one cool thing that they do is every set is released along with a narrative that Wizards of the Coast posts on their website. So it's not just about the new cards, but it's also about the ever-evolving story.
Great. And you've noticed, and I see you play it as well, you've liked this game for about 20 years yourself?
Actually, I'm a latecomer to the game.
You are?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
When I got out of grad school, I was roommates with a very avid player, and he introduced me to the game, and I got really into it.
Excellent. And so why did you pick Magic instead of one of the other card games?
I like Magic because it's the pacing. I like the pacing of Magic better than Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh is very fast and off the gate, and then the Pokemon card game is a great card game, but for me, it wasn't designed to be a card game. It was designed to emulate the Pokemon video games. It's not quite as streamlined as Magic the Gathering. They're all great card games. This is just the one that I personally prefer.
Mm-hmm. Well, if everyone wants to come out and even just watch on Saturday, there'll be a fun time here at Fitchburg Teen Library area with Colin, or over at Leominster Teen Library, and watch them play if you're over in Leominster, and root on your friends, and come on out. It'll be a fun time. And hopefully this might become a annual event.
Oh, we're hoping. And if you cannot make it and you want to follow along on the action, you can follow along at the Leominster's teen Instagram, or you can follow at the Fitchburg teen Instagram account.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Colin, for talking to us today. And
Thank you very much.
I'll probably be here myself on Saturday to cover the event for
We
you.
look forward to seeing you.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.